Hi, WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, and today I have Rare Perfection 18-year-old bourbon made for the Japanese market. So, this bourbon was a special gift from a friend of mine. This friend lives in Poland, and he said, try it. It's an old bourbon, 18-year-old. What do you think? And I was like, I don't know, let me try it. I was like, wow, this stuff is really good. He said, hey, it's a Rare Perfection. I went online, I Googled, it was like, there's a Rare Perfection 25-year-old that goes for like $1,000 online. He said, oh, yeah, about between 200 and 600 euros over here. It depends on the auction this season. So Rare Perfection, and this is the thing, comes from KBD, Kentucky Bottling Distillers, or also known as Willet. Almost all the Willet you've ever had. It could be Noah's Mill. It could be Rowan's Creek. It could be Kentucky Vintage. It could be anything from the rye, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old rye, and so on. They all sourced that. We're not 100% sure where they sourced it from, but they started producing their own whiskey about 3 years ago. I was in the distillery this summer. I saw how they do there. They have a nice little column still, then have a pot still at the end that they use basically as a doubler, and then they bottle it. And they have their juice in the warehouse getting ready, and it's about 3 years old. And so they've actually bottled some of it. There's a 2-year-old rye, there's a 3-year-old rye, but anything this age, and especially 18 years old, they did not make themselves. Where they got it from, no one knows. There was a Rare Perfection 14-year-old and 16-year-old rye. There was a 12-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old, and 25-year-old bourbon, all specially done for the Japanese market. How does it make its way back all the way over to Europe from Kentucky and then from Poland over to Germany? The story I will never know. But I do know that I love the nose on this thing. It's got that old yeast type of smell, like the 1980s bourbon. I've had some Jim Beam from before the 80s. I've had some Wild Turkey before the 80s. I've had some Evan Williams before the 80s. And there's a special type of smell. I think they use a different type of yeast. I've mentioned this before. That has not yet been so modified and engineered to make the most of the starches and sugars that are there. So you have a better result in the alcohol amount of alcohol, but yet this is so good. I even get a little bit of a Christmassy. There's like a little bit of nutmeg, there's a little bit of cinnamon, there's a little bit of ginger in here. It's really, really good. And of course you have your candy corn, you have your old leather, you have a little bit of teak even in there. It's a great, great nosing whiskey. I could do this for the next 20 minutes. Just, oh, it's good. There's some wood. It's just perfectly. It's a wonderfully balanced whiskey. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm so happy I got this gift. I wasn't expecting it whatsoever. It's been in the back of my cabinet with the other samples, and I just kind of like, okay, what can I do tonight as a tasting video? All right, good. Just pull this out and just kind of researched it after I tasted it and I gave it back. I was like, what is this? What is this? And he's like, yeah, fantastic, fantastic stuff. Let's try it. Wow, good. Comes in at a very high level, very complex. A lot going on your mouth at the very beginning. But then the alcohol kicks in, and it's not too hot. It's only 43%. It's 18 years old, and I would expect it to be a little bit softer, milder, but it's not. There is a little bit of heat, a little bit of pepper in there, but it supports the entire process within this bourbon. It really gets that spiciness. There's a little bit of rye in there. There's a lot of wood in there. There's that candy corn in there. There's that ginger, and there's that cinnamon. All that's going on in there. A little bit of leather going on in there. And then when you swallow, it just really, really turns into a wonderful potpourri of different tastes going all the way down to your throat, and it just exactly balanced as I would wish every bourbon could and would be. The wood is not dominant, even though it's 18 years old, but it's a very, very, very solid transitioning type of bourbon that I just personally love. This is going to get an A plus. No, I'm sorry, an A minus. Whoops. No, A minus. Sorry, people. I'm saving my A pluses. I've had 40-year-old Glenfarclas. I've had a lot of single malts where they're just better than any bourbon could ever be. Sorry for all my bourbon lovers out there, but it's just stuff out there that's just fabulous. And this is one of the best bourbons I've ever had. And I'm going to actually not sell it, but it's going down into my private little stash down there with my other great things like a Pikesville and Eagle Rare 17 and my Pappy Van Winkle is down there and so on. This is good stuff. Rare Perfection 18-year-old A minus. Now, as I said, on auction it's somewhere between 200 and 600 euros, which is a lot of money for a bottle. And so I'm just going to give it a D minus because I really don't think any whiskey's worth $600. I don't think Pappy's worth it. I don't think anything else I've tasted, even the Eagle Rare I've had, isn't really worth that much money. But it's good to have, and it's nice to taste, and every once in a while you will treat yourself to something nice. And if you can get a bottle of Rare Perfection, please do. Treat yourself. And just on special occasions, have a little nip and just enjoy life. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American. Absolutely surprised at the Rare Perfection 18-year-old, 43% from Willet. Extra just for the Japanese market. But somehow it made it over here to Germany, and I'm so glad I was able to try it. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.